On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. The president of South Africa, he had an interesting experience with Trump today. And it's weird as the deep state desperately tries to spin up race wars. They need one badly. They need the energy to come up higher because they're planning on, my guess is another cop on individual shooting. I think it's really easy to MK Ultra one of these white cops into doing something horrific like we've seen before. And then, of course, it was funny how they were trying to talk into Chauvin, how he was going to be, pardoned by Trump. Right? We had Marjorie Taylor Greene playing that card, which I guess she was probably supposed to do. It hasn't happened, at least yet, and I doubt it will. It shouldn't, better not. But again, it gets people fired up. Minnesota was preparing for riots. It's like, are you insane, Tim Waltz? Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry you are. So a lot is happening. Deep State's trying. They're failing. And again, a lot happening. I'm going to start here with Trump.
And we got the Olympics, and then we got through Johnny, who's the boss. He's a friend of mine. We got the World Cup. I got them both. And I said, man, I won't be president. I got the Olympics and the World Cup, and I won't be president. And they're going to forget that I got them. Nobody's going to mention it because, a little bit that's the way life is. And then they rigged the election. And then I said, you know what I'll do? I'll run again, and I'll shove it up their ass. And that's what I did. And all of a sudden, I then realized, I said, you know what? I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th. Look at the way this works out. So if they would have left us alone and wouldn't have cheated on the election and wouldn't have rigged it, I would have been retired right now. I would have been happily doing something else. And instead, they have me for 4 more years. Can you believe it? Yeah. So it has
Amazing how it continues to play out. Exactly, right? I mean, again, you can't plan this. It's the movie. It's the way we see it. I've got a gardener running in the background, so I'm so distracted right now. But here's another great piece of video here. We've got CNN talking about, kind of the scandal with Biden campaign and everything.
And Alex, the fact of the fake town hall is not actually the worst part of the story that you report in the book.
Yes, other campaigns have used fake town halls. Now, I would say those town halls usually are in addition to real town halls. Joe Biden was doing neither. This fake town hall was in order to film it so they could make it into campaign commercials. They filmed it in Delaware with supporters. But Joe Biden, at this point, this is the spring of 2024, Joe Biden's town hall, which was closed to press, was so bad that campaign officials determined that it was not usable for a campaign commercial. So they took 90 minutes, 2 hours out of the president's day. They filmed an entire town hall, and they determined that it was not usable. Now, some people say this was because Joe Biden was incoherent. He could not really articulate his thoughts in a pithy or even semi-normal way. Some people just said, the lighting was bad. That was sort of the 2 points of view. But the point is, it shows how what the campaign status was in the spring of 2024 when they were trying to, deal with a candidate that wasn't a decline.
Wait, someone told you the lighting was bad?
That's one of the excuses.
You're saying that they spent millions of dollars to stage a town hall? Well, we didn't get the lighting right.
That was one of the excuses.
I mean,
unbelievable.
And this comes back to the question.
That guy reminds me of Bill Engvall. I don't know about you guys, but and I don't know where he's at politically now because, again, as you're trying to be famous in Hollywood, they will shaft you if you try to go down the wrong path. I wonder. Pentagon officially accepts Qatari jet for Trump use. United States Air Force accepted it. Not Trump. The Air Force. I know everybody's been trying to play that in a funny kind of way as well. Israeli preparing possible preemptive attack on Iranian nuclear facility. We're at a place in time where we saw Trump pull back. Now, I was suspicious when Trump pulled back that he was doing it because Iran was about to do something like this. I didn't want to say anything publicly because I really didn't want to bring any attention to it. I didn't want to help make this happen. If this was going to happen, I felt this kind of thing would occur beforehand. It's out of my hands at this point, right? We're too close to the situation. There's a number of things that seem like they're probably going to happen. How Iran plays out is going to be very, very curious because, again, the whole entire world needs to be able to go around Israel, which almost makes me wonder, is Israel going to go in harder than it should? but maybe in such a way that it minimizes the amount of collateral damage. And I would say one of my understandings, so this is probably a confirmation bias, maybe, I don't know. So one of my understandings of how things work, nuclear weapons from a soul level, when they happen, flash and you die, right? Like that, it actually creates a really big trauma with the soul. The soul is very confused. We're supposed to go to heaven and all that stuff, right? Well, a nuclear flash creates a bit of a confusion and makes that process of, poltergeist, go into the light, don't go into the light, like whatever you're supposed to do, it makes it difficult. So that's one of the things I understand about nuclear weapons. Not good, not why they're allowed. So anything that would be in the range of any nuclear attack that might be allowed, anybody that was there would be removed beforehand. There would be some sort of process. It's just unquestionable because there's things that can't happen. Outwardly, it can look like a nuclear weapon was used, which would then cause the rest of the world to say, dude, you broke the ultimate rule. You're not allowed to do that. So I don't know what's going on, how this plays out. And I don't want to pretend. I don't want to be a fortune teller. I don't want to be. I don't want to play that game. We all have just as good a guesses as anybody, frankly. But what happens, happens. And until the future happens, it hasn't been decided. I'm doing all these hand gestures. You can't even see it because the camera's off. It's Adam. I think I click the button sometimes, and frankly, no, button was failed. Trump unveils a $175 billion plan for this Golden Dome missile defense system. This is a whole new level of weapons, like a weapon war, if you will, right? The Cold War, they called it. It was just essentially, build as many nukes. And he says, oh, you got 1,000 nukes? I got 1,200. Now we can blow the planet up 100 times over. Yay. So now we're at this place where the United States is basically saying, look, here, we know what you all are doing. China, Russia, specifically. We know what you all are doing. And we're able to deal with that. Now, there's a lot of people that are under the impression, I'm not saying it's not happening, but it's so two concepts that are a lot more difficult to do in real life than we realize. Rods from gods is one of them. It's an awesome idea, but you're talking about typically tungsten rods put up in space. They're very, very heavy objects. The way the equation works for kinetic energy, the faster you go and the heavier you weigh, it's just a big boom, and it's no chemical weapons or anything. It's just kinetic energy. It's just a giant amount of energy and force being hit in a specific place. Problem is, the heavier something is, the more expensive it is to get up in space, unless we get into the exotic propulsions, which that's probably true, but we don't know. Putting chemical rockets in space, again, is another thing where you're putting a bunch of stuff with fuel, heavy, up in space. It's very expensive to do that. There's better ways to do it. Laser weapons, microwave weapons, stuff like that. You put the weapon as a beam. All it needs is a big giant dish, or I should say solar panels, right? And it can shoot stuff down light fast. And again, if you get into orbital mechanics, actually kinetic or actual physical objects, deorbiting them is not like most people just think that it's just floating above the planet and they just shoot straight down, like the rocket just and it just goes straight down towards the ground. And that's not how it works in real life. You're actually traveling at a speed, very fast speed. Depending how far out you are, it slows down, but you're still going very quickly relative to the Earth. And so anything going straight, by the time the Earth starts spinning and the thing actually gets there, because you're so far away, the Earth will have spinned a whole bunch. Spinned, that's a good word. It will have spun a whole bunch. And you'll miss the spot. Orbital mechanics are very different. And so again, I recommend to a lot of people Kerbal Space Program. It's a fun video game. Even if you're a girl, you'll love it. But it's cute as hell. And it teaches you about orbital mechanics, and it's actually a freaking awesome-ass game. It's literally top 5 favorite video games. Definitely top 5, unquestionably. I just have one flight simulator. I would say Grand Theft Auto's probably in there. Kerbal Space Program for sure. Factorio is pretty damn cool. I don't know right now. Anyway. So Trump says, or we find out, I should say. I'm sorry. Trump's on the screen here. China gravely concerned by this Iron Dome. Now, again, this creates a problem because what China's been doing is they've been messing with stuff in space. They thought they had the monopoly on space control. And basically what Trump is saying is, no, we're going to put weapons in space. And here's the thing. Destroying satellites is bad. If you create debris, that's bad. But that's not necessarily what you have to do. And I think a lot of people, one, they're spinning it this way. It's probably the deep state's attempt to make you scared of this, which, I don't know. I mean, if they create debris, yeah, we're fucked. But if they don't create debris and just take out a satellite, I mean, it's going to fall at its own pace. And anything that it might hit, they at least have a chance to get out of the way because they're going to see it coming from 100 miles away. This thing's not deorbiting itself. And the second it starts dipping into atmosphere, it's going to start slowing down, and it's done at that point, right? It will be down as a matter of time. And most of these satellites are pretty small. They'll probably burn up. So it's interesting you can use energy weapons to take something out. Microwaves, for example, maybe other things. They could shield a lot of this stuff from electromagnetics, but there's other ways you can fuck with things that aren't necessarily in that spectrum. And heat has a funny way of messing things up. Even if you heat the outside of something, if you heat it enough, it starts to heat the inside. And that causes problems. So there's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of ways they can do things. So we'll see. They don't necessarily have to create debris as much as a broken satellite. And I think we're going to find that Iron Dome probably has a lot more to do with space warfare than anything. And again, there's a lot of rumors, and I believe it for the most part, though we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things I want to see it to believe it. But that we supposedly have, TR-3B, like we have anti-grav technology. Like we have stuff, these triangles that should be able to get up in space. If that's the case, then there's already so much crazy shit up there. Weapons, missiles, everything under the sun probably, if that's the case. If we've literally got practically free ways to get it up there. And Elon Musk is just the cover, which would work with SpaceX and rockets and all that bullshit. U.S. Missile Defense Agency has received the first AN/TPY-2. It's an advanced radar system to defend against next-generation threats. So Raytheon's got their new generation radar out. It's been out. And for those of you that are super into radars, you're going to be like, oh, totally. It's got the gallium nitride. Oh, duh. Yeah, the GAN, the GAN. Yeah, that populated array. Of course. Right, whatever. None of us know what the fuck that means. I don't, that's for sure. Gallium nitride. I don't know. Whatever the case is, it makes for a better sensitivity, right? For her pleasure. That's why you have gallium nitride. Let me just say. When it comes to missiles, her is the missile. Patel and Bongino, they've drawn a lot of scrutiny. A lot of people pissed off in the MAGA world. Again, I called this. I said it. I knew it. Got people commented. A bunch of people commented. I was surprised, actually. I was like, Jesus, all right. Nobody meanly, just people wanted to share their opinion, which is cool. That's what it's all about. But here it is, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino getting a lot of shit for the fact that they've essentially talked about the Epstein thing the way they did. And I find this to be very interesting the way people are. People are very strange. And I know this is just part of the process. I'm not worried about where we're going to end up. I'm really not. I know we're going to get there. Not worried about it. I don't know how many of us are going to be there. I know I'll be there. I don't mean that in any gay way. I know. And I know there's going to be a crap ton of people with me. I know some other cool friends of mine are going to show up. It's this gathering that's happening, and we're all bringing as many with us as we can. It's a BYOF. Bring your own friends. So I'm bringing as many of you guys as possible. By the way, I've got a Mike Lindell thing today, and we made his radar in a big way, guys. Literally, there's 3 of us, and just to pat myself on the back a tiny bit, Bannon was one of them. My coupon code for my pillow is up there with Steve Bannon. Dude's got 1 million subscribers. And you guys and me, we're helping together, but you guys, dude, we literally got up with Steve Bannon. There's 3 of us. I don't know who the other one was. He didn't tell me. I'll play the video later. We'll kind of mention it. I called it out, which is, I didn't mean to kind of really, but I was excited because I'd heard that from the inside. I used my inside voice. So here's Sean. This one's a little longer. We played part of this yesterday, but this is a little more of it. Again, The Kash Patel thing and the Dan Bongino thing and the Epstein thing, whether Epstein's still alive or not, frankly, I don't think he needs to be. So I have no problem with him being dead. I don't. Do I think they suicided him? Yeah, it seemed like it, for sure. Had all the telltale effects of it. They didn't want him talking. They didn't want him saying things. But he doesn't need to. I think we know most of what he was going to tell us. I don't think he had anything really to tell us. Otherwise, we would protect him. And if we did, then we would. It'd be what it is. I find it odd that both of them say suicide. You know, they could have just said, yeah, he's dead. You know, like, I don't know. I just find it very strange. But whatever. Again, he could be alive. Who knows? I don't think it matters. Again, it's like flat earth to me right now. Whether Epstein's alive or not, I don't think it changes anything. He could be dead. I still think we're 100% cool. Trump dying, that would be friggin' horrible, right? Though, I think J.D. Vance is, he's stepping up in a huge way. Anyway, whatever the case is, it's a bigger deal. I know there's a lot going on to this. I don't want to, totally kick the dead horse, but I'm going to kick it some more here.
Wait, what are you talking about? I thought we could all sleep well at night now knowing that Epstein legitimately killed himself, right?
What was that?
Did that just come out?
It's just two guys that I really like. I mean, I love Bongino, but he's a friend of mine. But you weren't convinced by that?
No.
Why?
I mean, I've dug into that, and it's just so spooky what's going on with that, and how nobody. I mean, how do you charge a guy with sex trafficking when there's no end users that have been charged? Who did he traffic to?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know. You got me on that one.
I mean, right? How do you charge him with that if there's no? I mean, if that's where the trail starts, where does it end? We haven't. So, I think there's just a lot more going on than the majority of people know about.
What do you think that was?
What do I think it was?
Yeah.
I think it was a blackmail operation. What do you think it was?
I think it was a blackmail operation run by the CIA and the Israeli intel services. And probably others. French intelligence always has a hand in everything, I've noticed. So probably them too. But the usual, darkest forces in the world colluding to make rich and powerful people obey their agenda.
I mean, look, though, I don't understand why nobody has come out on it. Nobody has come out on it, right? I mean, because if you paint the scenario, I mean, you get on a jet, maybe you're totally innocent, you don't know what's going on, two hot women come out of the whatever stewardess place, come out, and one thing leads to another.
Yes.
I mean, and then what happens? They go, oh, we got you. You're on camera. And by the way, these girls are 15 or 16 or whatever the hell they were, right? And, but I mean, yes. If you're a married guy, it's pretty fucked up that you're doing that. But I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. So why wouldn't you just scream blackmail at the top of your lungs? Like, I didn't know this is what happened, and just come clean on it.
What do you think?
Because people have pictures. But this is, I think his name's Sean. I think he does a better job, and I think it was cut poorly, which I think was part of the plan, by the way, yesterday. That's kind of why I wanted to replay it. Like, more context almost always helps. But, yes, Epstein was definitely a honeypot utilized to control people. Now, everybody wants to say who was behind it. Was it the Mossad? Was it the CIA? It was the fucking deep state, people. Okay? It's the deep state. So it's the CCP. It's the Mossad. It's the MI6 and MI5 for that matter. I mean, just like our FBI was, but MI5 is basically like FBI. MI6 more like CIA. Our CIA for sure. Apparently the French intelligence now also. Germans intelligence, I'm sure, too. Everywhere. That's the deep state. They had control everywhere. New Zealand, Australia, everywhere. They still do in a lot of these places. This was a honeypot. This is how they got control. This is how you became the next political leader. Step out of line, this shit's coming out. I got pictures of you in bed with this minor. This is why I like Asian people, by the way. Seriously, it's true. They got to be like 40 before they stop looking like they're 10. Right? The second she looks like she's barely legal, I'm like, all right, you got to be at least 40 or 50 years old now, sweetheart. So, damn, yeah, definitely. All right? Otherwise, they look like they're 10. There's just no way. That's just disgusting. Kind of joking. Kind of not, though. We are in a weird place. And anybody that wants to be anybody that wants to try to change the world, by the way, I would not want to be a politician, but we all have our own ways. But anyone that wants to do that and gets sort of good at it, either A, you get blocked, or B, if you even push back past that, then they kick you into this next phase. You get invited to a Diddy party. You know everybody's going to be there. It's a great place to network. Network. It's the word. Any of you guys know? The second they want you to try to get into something, networking is what it's always about. Always. Why wouldn't you want to network? That's stupid. That's like punching a baby. Mila Joy posted this. Breaking news. Holy shit. Well, she said like 3 eyes. I don't know if you still say it the same way. Rep. Tim Burchett just said that Biden staffers were taking payoffs in exchange for Autopen pardons. How much did Adam Schiff or Tony Fauci pay? Anyone involved in it needs to be locked up and all pardons null and void. Now, how we prove it, how this works, don't know, but there's likely some truth to some of this. Oops, that's not where I wanted to go. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Donald Trump truth this out today. Joe Biden was not for open borders. He's offering an olive branch to Joe Biden, I think. I think he's tempting Joe Biden to come out and say the truth. And if he does, knowing how a deal's worked, I bet certain information's not going to come out. Like, we'll stop digging on this. You've done enough. We don't need to ruin your entire family, or we've got so much stuff that we can share. It's going to make all of you guys look bad. Then all you got to do is just admit you didn't sign or weren't aware of almost all executive orders. And they'll question his sanity, which was kind of always the point. It's like one of those movies where they do the flashbacks, right? They show you like the end and start flashing back, like flash forward, I guess, the end, and then they flip you to the back and you start living the story. Like, it's a cool way to tell a story, I think. It's hard to do, I think, but at least well. But it's cool. Donald Trump said Joe Biden was not for open borders. He never talked about open borders, where criminals of all kinds, shapes, and sizes can flow into our country at will. It wasn't his idea to open the border and almost destroy our country and cost us hundreds of billions of dollars to get criminals out of our country and go through the process we are going through now. It was the people that knew he was cognitively impaired, and that took over the Autopen. They stole the presidency of the United States and put us in great danger. This is treason at the highest level. They did it to destroy our country. The Joe Biden that everybody knew would never allow drug dealers, gang members, and the mentally insane to come into our country totally unchecked and unvetted. All anyone has to do is look up his record. Something very severe should happen to these treasonous thugs that wanted to destroy our country, but couldn't. Because I came along. Make America great again. Man, there is an ego there. It's a little painful sometimes, but whatever. Trump, I love you. You're worth it. You're golden, as you would say. But yes, he's being very cool offering an olive branch to Joe Biden. Why? Good question. Ed Martin talking about a whistleblower and some of the Biden administration. Again, we've got all sorts of information fired up and ready to go. I'm going to play this slightly faster, but this is pretty good. Check this out.
Hey, the president, if you were with us on the morning meeting, you saw talked at length, 2 stops before he went into the meeting with the House conference, talked to the media, and he talked a lot about this issue of the Autopen. All presidents use Autopen, but there seems to be a sense in the Trump administration that Joe Biden, this is something Ed I think is working on, that Joe Biden used the or people used the Autopen to sign things on Joe Biden's behalf, including pardons that may be not legally, constitutionally permissible if it wasn't actually the president and it was some robot or whatever you call the Autopen. So here's number 3. This is a Truth Social post from the president about this topic. And again, he talked about it at length this morning. Joe Biden was not for open borders. He never talked about open borders. We're criminals of all kinds. All right, blah, blah, blah. Go through the process. It was the people that knew he was cognitively impaired and that took over the Autopen. They stole the president of the United States and put us in great danger. This is treason at the highest level. So, Ed, where did this start, this notion that the Autopen was improperly used? And what evidence have you seen for the president's accusation?
Well, I'll make a little news for you, Mark, here. I was in the office as U.S. Attorney for about 5 days when I wrote to a number of senior Biden officials in the White House saying, what did you know about Joe Biden's competence and the pardons? And I got some responses. And so I've been looking at this for a while. Again, I think that the question is more about competence. If you have someone who's not competent, they can't enter into a contract, right? And if you do enter into a contract, you've committed fraud. The question is whether you use a tool to trick people into entering into a fraud. So the Biden pardons are unprecedented. The ones right before Christmas that he did, people forget this. I think it's a couple thousand pardons that were done. Did he know about that? Did he really understand? Look, the pardon power is plenary, but the guy has to be competent to do it. Now you come forward to this question broadly of the Autopen. Autopen's completely obviously legal if you're competent. And there must be a trail that shows who was in charge of the Autopen. I know this exists. Like I worked for a governor. We had a system for an Autopen to be able to use it. And so right now we have unprecedented conduct, the pardons, unprecedented admissions, the books as well as the staffers. I had a whistleblower in my office 10 days ago, senior Democrat, saying, look, it was these 3 people that controlled access and they were making money off of it. I don't know if I believe it yet, but the point is, I think we have to get to the bottom of it for the American people and to protect the process. And that's what we're doing. And by the way, make it all the way to the bottom. It may not be criminal, but it certainly should be a scandal of the first order, maybe in human history or maybe American history. I sound like the president there, but in American history to have this kind of conduct.
Ed, I'm from Maryland, not North Carolina, so I'm not that bright. Did I miss what the news was? You said you'd make news. What was the news you made?
The news was that nobody knows until that I was writing to these folks at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and including the Biden family. I don't think anybody has seen that. So my point is I'm bragging about being there early. Everybody got to this 120 days later.
Did they reply or you just sent them letters?
No, they didn't.
What'd they say?
Well, a couple of them lawyered up, and one of them wrote directly. I won't talk about what they said.
And can you and you probably won't tell us, but can you characterize who the whistleblower was? It someone who worked in the Biden White House?
Biden campaign, 2020 campaign at the highest levels.
2020, and who are the 3 people they said were doing it for money?
This is the one who's let me say it carefully. Yeah. The gatekeepers, different characterization of who was using the access, but the gatekeepers were Klain and Anita Dunn and Bob Bauer, and those 3 were really dominant characters in the White House. Ricchetti a little bit, and obviously Jill, but I think that was the 3. The 3. I was with this person, and I said, "What about Susan Rice? What about some of these others?" And they said, "No, these were the ones."
Okay, I will politely and gently tell you his name is pronounced Ricchetti.
Oh, okay.
Love it. Yeah, it's McMahon, Dan. It's McMahon. Always love those moments. He takes it well. Who's this dude? What the fuck, man? Literally nothing. You guys at least aren't wearing ties. I like that. This guy's wearing a tie because he's working for somebody. These 2 aren't working for anybody. Fantastic. It's the rule. So I understand. Anyways, I don't make the rules. I just mostly forget to follow them. I got to take this. So this is kind of weird. MAID is this program up in Canada for mental illness. MAID for mental illness is set to take effect in March 2027. Hopelessness and desire to end one's life can be symptom of some mental illness. By the way, I was suicidal twice in my life. Many Canadians struggle with their mental health. There are long waiting lists, though, for treatment, and it can be expensive. 1 in 10 people will wait more than 4 months for counseling. The waiting period for MAID is only 3 months. And it's awesome because he's like, you think about it, you're like, hey, look, we're just giving some information for you guys that are suffering from depression and things along those lines, where you'll go through moments in your life where pretty much everything seems really pretty much hopeless and you hate it. And there always is hope, by the way. Always. There's always a better tomorrow. You can always turn it around. It's your thoughts. Stop focusing on all the negative stuff, and you'll actually start focusing on the things that are good. Just find 1 or 2 things in your life that are good. You'll be amazed how that will get you out of that spiral. That said, They want you to think ahead. Hey, look, you know you're going to get depressed here in the next, month, 2? Go ahead and make the appointment now. Go ahead and make that appointment. You're going to be suicidal? Look, here's the thing. We're going to get you in about 3 months. Can you time it to where you're actually like literally holding the thing in your hand going, I don't know, man. I don't know. And be like, is my appointment today? What the? Really? Is this socialized medicine? Well done. Well done. Thank you for showing us how it's done. Oh, that makes sense. Phew. Fuck, man. The whole European argument always pissed me off as a kid growing up. I don't know if I wasn't Republican. I kind of, lefty center. And it was just like, what, you guys are nuts. State Farm. No, they're not happy with the 17% raise they originally got. Just immediately. That's going to hit a bunch of people. The other company, I forgot what the name of the State Farm. Maybe this is State Farm. Who's another one? They got like 30-something percent. So now State Farm's like, we could have gotten more. We're unhappy. So now pretty much everybody that's got homeowners insurance in California, sounds like we now get to pay 30% more. So there you go. Thank you, Gavin Newsom, right? And just country, by the way. This is why this is important, I think. Gavin Newsom could soon be your next vice president. I would keep that in mind. I would think that should be a very distasteful feeling and experience inside your body because he will make you feel exactly like that. Breitbart put this out. U.S. Senate passes the No Tax on Tips Act by unanimous consent. Literally, hang on. Literally. I don't know what was like. They passed it. The no tax on tips. Awesome. Should have passed. Should have, right? You were there with me. It passed 100-0. I just can't fucking believe there's actually one thing we all agree on. Like, it was this moment. Like, I just felt like, there's hope. I'm not actually crying. You guys are crazy if you thought I was. That's just good acting, though. Do a lot of other parts. Republicans face a race, I guess. I can't talk. I can't read, but I can fake act. Republicans race to finalize big, beautiful bill as Johnson seeks Memorial Day deadline. Now, this is pissing a lot of people off with this deadline. Doesn't need to be. They're trying to do it fast because I think they kind of want to get some shit going. I think some people feel like this is like, you're just trying to push crazy shit through. They probably don't want you to spend a lot of time looking at it. From what we do understand, by the way, that this bill is, I don't know which page tells me this, but I want to say it's 1,116 pages or 1116. That's one smaller than a lot of the times it is. It's still way over 1,000 pages, in my opinion. That's just like I gotta read this tonight. Like if I was one of the staffers, dude. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he hires people that are like can read 4,000 words a minute. You need to. The SALT thing is the big deal. I think I like this. A $40,000 cap. It was initially going to be a $30,000 cap, up from $10,000, by the way, and up to a $400,000 income limit. They want to switch that to a $4,500 limit. I'm sorry, a $3,400 limit to a $4,500 limit. So they want to actually be cooler to the taxpayers, give them a bigger break anyways. They can write more regular local sales tax type stuff off, mortgage tax, I want to say. I think some insurance stuff's in there, whatever. SALT's got a few things, but you can write off that money you've had to spend. And it makes your taxable income lower. And, of course, that pisses off people that want to spend your money. Let's call them that. So this is one of the many things that are going on right now. We'll see where it gets us. This is, talking about that. Well, somewhere they had the pages in there. 1,116, which I thought was a cool number, by the way, because 1116 is, I wish I could show it to prove it, but 1116 is a 9 number. It's 3, 6, it's 9. It's a completion. which I think there's something to this. And I think the fighting that's happening, we've still got a crap ton of uniparty people inside our government. I'm actually starting to think the Freedom Caucus is part of that. Trump's pretty pissed at them right now. States right now are being stripped of their abilities to limit AI research. I think this is a good thing. Here's the thing, and there's a lot of people, and folks, here's the problem. There's a lot of people that are freaked out about AI, namely because of movies like Terminator, which I'm not saying that's a possible reality, but there are other possible realities. When you say that to them, they go, no, think about it. Wouldn't aliens decide that humans aren't necessary and then just destroy us because we're the problem? And it's like, why? They get to experience with us. They get to deal with the fact that we're different, that we're not machines, that we don't do exactly what it would be expected within programming, that we do weirdly unprogrammed things. We're fascinating. Learning to live with us would make sense, too. And a lot of this has to do with who's actually controlling the overall balance of the energy on this planet. Is it more positive or is it more negative? It's been overwhelmingly negative for a long time, and what we've been doing is trying to steer that back to more positive. Just a little even, which we've done more than already, by the way. We're well past into. We are steering the ship, as I say, and that's what I've always meant by it. We're literally starting to bend us back towards positive. Sounds vastly different without the headphones. So they got a bill where they're pissed off about the fact that states can't limit what we can do with AI. Good, because in California and New York, one of these fucked up states is going to stop us from being competitive. Here's the thing. China's going to do the evil thing with it. The thing you all are scared of, Terminator, okay, that's China. And if we literally don't take the friggin' kickstand off this bitch and the training wheels and teach this motherfucker how to ride quick, we lose. And we end up with Terminator. Or we have one that appreciates the bigger picture and figures it out. The beauty of art, the beauty of paintings. Sure, it can replicate and do things, but it'll be different to create. People really undersell the power of the soul. And maybe that's one of the things we're going to learn more about, I hope, in the next few years. But nonetheless, I think this is good that stupid states like the one I live in can't stop you all from being safe. Maybe even have a good life. I think AI can actually do us a lot of favors. I have no tattoos. I am 100% human and will remain that way. I don't care if it can make me smarter. Oh, great. I'll still be dumb. I'm happy with that. Like, I'll have friends. I'll be like, I'll ask them questions when I need to know. It's kind of like right now. I'll be like, hang on, let me check. I don't know everything. It's cool. I could ask Smarty Pants over here with he's got the implant. I will tell you in a second. All right. Get back to me there, Alexa, sir. He'd get pissed at me every time I do it. It's just a funny joke we got. It's not funny to him. It's funny as hell to me, though. GOP leaders prepare to squeeze hardliners' holdouts. This is, I thought, interesting. Several of the GOP hardliners emerged from late morning meetings dismissing Johnson's plan of passing the megabill through the House by Memorial Day, saying that substantial negotiations remained over issues such as Medicaid, clean energy subsidies, and other issues. This is like your Freedom Caucus. This is there's just this small few holdout. And here's the problem that's occurring right now, Freedom Caucus. You guys are really, really, we're dividing them into those that are like hardcore too much maybe versus, no, I think I get what you're doing. We're moving in the right direction, right? Like, can see the bigger point and can figure out how to sell that to their constituency, because that's what it comes down to. They're all worried about getting reelected. I get it. But you need to also learn how to take what's given to you and deal. Like I was joking with my thumbnail yesterday, right? You get a broken egg, you make some omelets, right? Or lemonade. Lemonade's made with lemons. You get a bunch of lemons, make lemonade. I inherited a lemon tree in my house, by the way, and stoked about it. We use lemons for all sorts of crazy shit in this place. It's fantastic. So, again, we're removing Biden green tax incentives over time. Trump's talking about getting rid of them. He's like, not only are we going to get rid of these things over time, but we're actually going to get rid of them as quickly as we can. And there's all they want to keep any state from trying to enact crazy stuff that's ultimately going to have to get unwound anyways. We're moving forward. The Green New Deal stuff is being dismantled. It's happening. Nothing's happening fast enough. Brick, man. Like, be fair. Please. Donald Trump, truth is, we must maintain our status as the worldwide leader in Wi-Fi, 5G, and 6G, connecting every American to the world's best networks, while also keeping everyone safe. We can do both at the same time. Bottom line, I'm going to free up plenty of spectrum for the auction, so Congress must put 600 megahertz in the one big, beautiful bill. Let's make sure all options are on the table. Never bet against American ingenuity. Make America great again. It's weird kind of announcing it like that. Obviously, China is going to immediately start creating scanners for that area, but I mean, it is what it is. It's a frequency they're able to do a lot with, probably less dangerous. Keep that in mind. Though oddly, still on the 6.0, because right now we're 60 hertz. It's still on that same concept, which is going to be less damaging to what we're used to. Many would say, well, I think, I don't know, there's other people that have talked about it. I actually came up with it kind of on my own. I think it was just one of those things that was in the collective, and I think a bunch of us attached to it. So I'm not taking credit for it at all, but I came upon it myself, which I thought was part of the learning. But there is a shift with the 369 concept. There's something beautiful about those three numbers. 9 specifically, because they're always completion. 9's always reduced down to 9. Always, 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 always. No matter what the answer is, if it reduces down to 9, it's a guaranteed something times 9. Always. 3s and 6s actually shift between 369 or 693, and then 9's always 9999. It's just crazy what happens with those three numbers. So I kind of feel like they're the knob, like you can lift out the thing and spin it 30 degrees or 60 degrees in a 360. I guess it'd be a third of a circle. The hell is that? It hurts my brain right now, but a third of a circle, right? 120. There you go. So you switch it 120, and that's basically your 30, 60, 90. All right. It's crazy. I know. Whatever. I don't know how I could do a show on it maybe, but I'd have to do a bunch of work I don't want to do. Yeah. Part of the problem. 600 megahertz. Weird to me. But, again, outside of that would make us sick, most likely. We're used to 60 hertz. 600 megahertz, I would assume, since it's a multiple of 10, would probably be easier for us to deal with. Still doubtful that it's healthy, but better. Democrats vow payback in Senate rules fight. So they're Republicans are going to face consequences, apparently, over their decision to hold a vote to nix California's emission standard waivers. So this is kind of how the Dems work. It's like they don't ever allow a vote on something that's actually good. And it seems that Thune is allowing this to happen, and so now the Democrats are at war with the Senate, so that's kind of sweet. Now we got a little war going on. Of course, Schumer, the leader, who's a retard, which is awesome. We fired him up again. So that's cool. He says it's going nuclear, plain and simple. Because you're a friggin' retard, plain and simple. Trump administration asked Supreme Court to halt discovery in DOGE case. So here's basically the skinny. The emergency application asked the justice to lift a judge's order allowing limited discovery into whether DOGE is an agency, which would make it subject to Freedom of Information requests. Solicitor General D. John Sauer argued in the application that DOGE, also referenced in filings as the U.S. DOGE Service, USDS, is a presidential advisory body within the executive office of the president, not an agency, and thus exempt from FOIA, which lets the public request information from the government. Yet, the district court below ordered USDS to submit to sweeping intrusive discovery just to determine if USDS is subject to FOIA in the first place. Sauer wrote that That order turns FOIA on its head, effectively giving respondent a win on the merits of its FOIA suit under the guise of figuring out whether FOIA even applies. The lower court's order allowed discovery about DOGE employees and all recommendations. Oh, that's just bastard-wise. That's horrible. I don't know what happened. Yeah, there it is. All recommendations it has made to various agencies in addition to other internal documents. It also ordered a deposition of the body head. Amy Gleason, who's talking about this, so yada yada. This thing, sign up, you bastard. Effed everything up. Yeah, so anyway, basically, intrusive discovery. They wanted to look at, they were like, well, look, we're going to send all this. You have to send us information back to prove that you aren't subject to FOIA. And they're like, we're not subject to FOIA, so we don't even need to send you anything. Essentially, which testicle or which breast would you like to suckle? Is really where it resides at that point. Now, some might say that's not necessarily the only choices, Dan. Yes, we could make lemonade, too. Senator Democrat passes away following cancer battle. Very sad. Rep. Jerry Connolly. This apparently actually creates a legitimate voting void, though, just FYI, which is funny that things are now passing. They're trying to push things through right now. And I think this might be part of what nuclear is going on with Schumer. But this is in the House, by the way. He was like District 10 or 11, Virginia's 11th district. Very sad again. My heart goes out. Condolences, of course. United Healthcare shares drop after a report alleges a secret bonus payment to nursing homes for cutting hospital transfers. Again, there's just a whole lot of crappy stuff that United Healthcare is doing. Here's the thing, folks. Other groups are doing it. So it depends where you're invested, by the way. I keep saying that. Home Depot, they're pissed off. They're blaming the Fed for slower sales, not tariffs. Reason being, it's not that stuff's too expensive at Home Depot. It's the fact that nobody's building homes because the interest rates are too high. So Home Depot's a little pissed off. Mass protests breaking out in several regions in China. This is too long for what we get, though I love watching this chick. She's kind of fun. She's got a crazy cool accent. I don't know if she speaks Chinese perfectly, so I'm assuming she's learned English, and she just speaks it perfectly. Like, she's just like it's weirdly perfect. It seems Chinese. It's just funny to me. Anywho, let me see. I'll play a second just so you guys can not think I'm totally crazy.
Mass protests are breaking out in several regions of China this month. They're driven by a number of grievances, and angry Chinese protesters have been seen clashing with police officers.
To me, it sounds like she's got like a lot of cheek in there, right? Like, what the? And that's kind of what Chinese, they got the back in the, they got these noises that come from the back corner of your mouth. I don't know how they do it. It's incredible, some of the sounds that you've got to be able to make, but I don't think that was the point of the story, but it was more important to me. Yeah, China's breaking out protests all over. Different ones, different reasons. It's kind of weird that that's happening. China's economy literally admitting to not as much growth as they were claiming was going to happen. So the fact that they're admitting to this is shocking. So, yeah, guess what? The markets reacted. The whole world's tied together in this whole thing, and trying to decouple us from the Fed isn't just as easy as decoupling us from the Fed. It's decoupling the entire world. So there's this weird deflation that needs to happen. There's this, I don't know how they're doing this. I don't know how they're pulling the money out. A lot of money moving around, though, all over the place. I think they have, where do they do cryptos? FX. What was up? Oh, it was just currencies. Oh, there's crypto. Hi, the word crypto. One would think that might help, Dan. Still, nonetheless, 109. I think Bitcoin. Yeah, I suppose it was at the highest it's ever been. That's pretty radical. 1991. That's a cool number. So yeah, Bitcoin's up a bunch. Again, I would assume it's heading in a positive direction, and there's a lot of money getting pumped into it right now because the stock market's like crashing. They don't know what to do with it, so I think they move it into crypto, and then they're like, all right, because banks don't know about it in crypto. You put it into a bank or into a holding or to a mutual fund. There's a lot of like things that you pay fees on and all that bullshit. You don't have to do that. Only a small fee when you move it into crypto. So I think there's a lot of that goes on. Crypto spikes. People get excited, and then they move a bunch of it out during a sell, typically, or a buy, I should say. So it's what I'm seeing. I shared it yesterday. Trump's big, beautiful bill is built for the real economy, not a broken model. And that was kind of my point, is that we're moving in a direction I think that's kind of new. It's different. Again, the old system I don't think is long for this world. The new system is changing and happening now. It's kind of powerful how it is. Surprised I know I have my pillow coming up later. We'll get that going here in a bit because that's like a 12-minute, 11-minute thing. But just to remind you guys, drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Just get out of their system, right? There is a lot going on. I talk about these guys all the time. We're going to give it a small break, but drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. It's horrible. Trump has really done a lot to screw up the New World Order. This whole article gets into George Bush's original claim, right? The 1,000 points of light and all that bullshit. 1991, again, interesting numbers. We just said it a second ago. That was actually an accident. But anywho, George Bush declared New World Order. Obviously, Trump is messing that up, and that's what I came here to do. It's where a lot of us are here, in my audience specifically. We're here to change this, to help the best we can. Not ourselves change it, to help these people rise up and take ownership of their own thing. Most people don't want to make their own decisions, folks. This is the thing we're trying to help change. They don't even want the ability to do that. Just tell me what to do. Oh, they need to repeat. They need to learn. By slashing State Department budget nearly in half, Rubio aims to make agency relevant. Again, they're cutting it in half, man. That's a huge amount of money. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard confirms Anthony Fauci sought a preemptive pardon because he's dirty as like a pig in a pen.
Then we did fund it. Then Anthony Fauci helped fund the pandemic.
The thing that he denied over and over and over to Senator Rand Paul's questioning.
That's right. Under oath.
Under oath, exactly. So is it any wonder that he sought a preemptive pardon for anything during a certain period of time by President Biden before he left office?
And then we did fund it.
Hey, I want to give I want to throw something out there because here's one of the tricks in the trade. I'm going to tell you guys this secret, if you will, and this is why I do what I do. And then I wonder what you guys choose to do after knowing this now. So they always say you don't want to show the date. The reason you don't want to show the date and time is because it stamps it. It marks it. And it means that it's going to age. And you don't necessarily want to age something that you're posting because something could go viral and it could stay viral for years. People would think it was just said yesterday, but they think for years that it was just said yesterday. Now you get the views, you get everything, but you're misleading a bunch of people that think this was just said when in fact it was said many years or months ago. And when they figure it out and find out, they're going to get pissed at you because you posted it many years ago, but people are still thinking it's new. Sometimes it's good to actually have it in there because it gives you credit for where we are right now. And I don't know. I think there's something to be said about that. I think it helps people, too, if they ever go back and research using your information. I know it doesn't necessarily guarantee the hits, but what's it really about? Is it about growing the channel, or is it about trying to get good info out there? Whatever the case is. I think the good info matters a lot. But this is pretty good how they do this.
Then we did fund it. Then Anthony Fauci helped fund the pandemic.
The thing that he denied over and over and over to Senator Rand Paul's questioning.
That's right. Under oath.
Under oath, exactly. So is it any wonder?
Is anything any wonder at all? Yeah, for sure. For sure. We got a judge ordering Trump administration to maintain custody of illegal immigrants being deported to South Sudan. Hanging on to them is one thing. That's I don't know. This doesn't bug me as much as it can. It's when they're like already there that they want them back or whatever, or they fall into a category we've already dealt with. But whatever. This is just another one of those stupid things that'll work its way through, or eventually the Supreme Court's finally going to make a ruling that matters. Judge finds Trump's firings of Democrats on Privacy Oversight Board unlawful. Now, this is one of the ones that, to me, sort of steps across the line a little bit. Federal judge on Wednesday ruled that President Trump's firing of 2 Democrats on the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board were unlawful, deeming them null and void. So a judge who is now telling Trump, you fired somebody in the executive branch that's independent, you can't do that. Now, that is a judge that is definitely overstepping their bounds. We'll see what happens eventually, but it's obviously bullshit. They're not getting hired back. Trump will just stay on that one, and it'll be appealed, and it'll eventually get to the Supreme Court. So much bullshit right now. And eventually I'd like to see, and they might, I had that one case in front of them last week, or was it Monday? I don't know, whenever it was. Can't remember any of these. Days are flying, by the way, but flying. Got a great music coming up this weekend. We're doing a buddy brought up an idea. He's like, hey, you know what? You should do this thing. I'm going to tell you what the thing is. But what it made me think of is like, ooh, it's another way I can do music every once in a while. So I like the 4 for Friday. There used to be 2 for Tuesdays. I'm going to do a 4 for Friday. And this particular 4 for Friday has kind of a theme baked into it, which is pretty cool. It is basically Van Halen, Van Hagar, or Van Roth, Van Hagar, I guess just to make it really specific. And then David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar. So I've got 4 blocks, 4 songs from each one of those little subcategories. It's going to be pretty cool. And then some people can be like, who's the best? I don't know. You decide. I got a pretty good block of music set up for you guys in the big picture. You should join me Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're live. And otherwise, just watch it afterwards. It's a lot of fun. And then I've got Law of One happening on Thursday, tomorrow. Still a lot of editing to do. Day's creeping on. We'll get there. All said, we've got federal judge. History of anti-Trump remarks has been assigned to the Hannah Dugan criminal case. How funny is that? U.S. District Judge Lynn Autopen, 85, was randomly assigned to preside on the case against the judge that allowed an illegal immigrant to go out the back door. You know he's going to just basically say it's bullshit. It'll get appealed, I'm assuming. But I don't even know how that works. This is just randomly. Right? We got to protect. Dude, this chick is going next, too. New Jersey Rep. LaMonica McIver. She's going to make her first court appearance virtually. I bet you I wonder if she's going to have all the attitude she typically. I can't believe you're doing this to a politician. Like they're somehow above the law. Oh, it's fantastic. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. I don't know about you guys. This Ramaphosa individual, the president of South Africa, he is on his way to the White House. It was on the way to the White House, already at the White House. I think we've got some crazy video of Trump essentially showing him total carnage.
They're giving the United States of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who's killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses. Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. But, okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa. That's what
we need to find out.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
You know, you got to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back. You ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead.
It was just fun to leave the admonishment in there. I couldn't resist. I had to, folks. I mean, it's just sometimes there's somebody behind the green screen with a gun. I mean, what are you gonna do? I'm totally kidding, guys. What's this? Oh yeah, this is finger pointing. We like that. NBC News. Breaking. Intense meeting with South African President Ramaphosa. President Trump plays video promoting false claims of white genocide in this country. Trump argues with South African president falsely claiming genocide of white farmers. Then they immediately played a commercial of white cross-shaped water crackers. You know those little water crackers, those white crackers? Yeah, those white crackers with this cross-shaped. They had a commercial for them right after that happened. I made that up. It was probably too soon. I imagine probably too soon, but something they do. Katie Pavlich posted this. The South African Minister of Agriculture confirmed in the Oval Office today that white farmers are being killed and that it is a serious problem. Yeah, people getting killed is generally pretty shitty. Yet, this is what CNN put out. Breaking news, President Trump pushes unsubstantiated claims of white genocide. News at 11. U.S. Attorney's new program is sidestepping California's sanctuary laws, shielding illegals from ICE. They're stepping around it in this cool kind of way. A game changer, they're calling it. That makes it sound pretty cool. But the U.S. Attorney's Office for California's Central District and federal partners launched a program to neutralize California's sanctuary state policy. News at 11. Under the Trump administration, we will not allow sanctuary jurisdictions to stand in the way of keeping the American people safe. Where's the thing where they tell us exactly what they're doing? Person who has been deported re-enters the country illegally. That's a felony. So you definitely can't come back. Operation Guardian Angel gets around the laws through federal arrest warrants, which McAvoy said leave the counties no choice but to hand the targeted illegal migrant over. Somewhere up there, I remember there being warrants and stuff. Here it is, complaints and arrest warrants, whatever, that allows them to literally go in and take these people. They're actually just like, all right, we'll give you a warrant. You wanted a warrant? You always said, oh, if you give us a warrant, all right, here's a friggin' warrant. Biz snatch. What are you going to do now? So now that the southern border is, well, very hard to get across, a lot of migrants are going up there in Canada and trying to come across that way. So now a lot of these northern states, where they've been busing people to begin with, are actually going to get hit even harder. So all these Dem states are going to actually start to feel what it feels like to somehow get teleported Mexicans into their territory. What do they fly up there? How does that even work? I guess they'd fly up there and walk down. You better do it in the summer, home dog. And hey, mooses are fun, yeah? You go talk to a moose. Go say, hey, how you doing, moose? And walk up and try to hand him a dandelion. It's about my best. I don't know. It's not very good, but anyway, what are you going to do? Trump allows massive New York offshore wind project, and he got a restart of the natural gas pipeline. That was the compromise, I guess. I wonder if it was just that, or I wonder if Rikers, I'm still wondering about Rikers. Maybe that's a different deal entirely, but whatever the case is, they got a natural gas pipeline. It's going to actually help the prices of those that are stuck in the northeast with their prices, because it'll make more natural gas, which is clean when it burns. I know it's got CO2. Oh my God. Whatever. Plants love it. It's got a lot of that, and that'll be coming out, and that's cool. Water and CO2. It's one of the cleanest burning fossil fuels we have. It is the cleanest burning, frankly. After credit downgrade, Maryland's leftist governor decided, hey, you know what? This whole idea of giving a bunch of money to black people and calling it reparations, we're not going to do it right now because it doesn't seem like we can really afford it. So, yeah, any place that tries to do that is probably going to get destroyed. Justice Department is going to drop police reform agreements with Louisville and Minneapolis, or Louisville, sorry, for those that didn't understand that are actually from the area. But they're going to be dropping these police reform agreements. Apparently, Justice Department had an agreement through the Biden administration, and they were going to be trying to deal with the allegations of systemic unconstitutional policing and civil rights violations that occur there. So they were spending all this extra money on stupid stuff. Dude, we're putting a stop to so many things. This is fantastic. Supreme Court orders Maine legislature to revoke censure of Rep. Laurel Libby over trans athlete post. She made a post, and they're like, well, she has to apologize. And the Supreme Court's like, no, rescind that. She's allowed to make a post how she feels about this. You can't demand an apology. That's against her First Amendment rights. Supreme Court against doucheholes in Maine. That's what's called a middle finger. Fuckers. 55% of New Yorkers don't like Hochul. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised. That's why she's trying to do all this crazy stuff. We're going to give you guys $2 billion back. She's a pile of trashola. What's also interesting, though, is that Andrew Cuomo is getting hammered right now. Trump Justice Department opens a probe into former governor who was trying to hopefully rerun again against Hochul's failure. Oh, so you're not going to be able to be it either, Cuomo? Yeah, you little poor guy. Dude, folks, we got something cool going on with the OTF code. Something very cool going on. I don't know if I still have the picture. I should see if I can pull it back up. The picture's cool. It's worth 1,000 words. Literally. This pillow's cool, and you're going to see it on the video that I'm going to play because I don't want to waste a lot of time on it. Well, it's not waste. It's hearing what Biden... what Mike Lindell has going on. He's actually going to a jury trial. He's the only person that's literally been willing to go against Smartmatic and these guys in this trial. He's the only one that didn't settle. Think of that for a second. He's the only one. Everyone else at Fox, Newsmax, everybody settled. Not Mike. It's like, no, let's go to Discovery. Let's see. Put your money where your mouth is, biatches. Let's see what you got. Flip your cards over, home diggities. He probably doesn't talk like that. Maybe he does. I don't know. In real life, I feel like he's probably very Christian all the time. Like, so, he wouldn't like my potty mouth in real life. I'm sure I would have to try to retort a little bit. But nonetheless, my friends, we've got a video of me and him. I was on with Mike. We did about 14 minutes. It's pretty good. And we talk about the election stuff, and we get a great deal going on as well with MyPillow. They literally hooked us up. Bannon's War Room and one other dude, one other dudette, one other group. That's it. There's 3 of us that get this deal. So I hear. That's what I was told. I heard it from him, his mouth. I asked him even during our time, and the person that I have a wonderful relationship at the MyPillow factory side of things. Folks, dude, we got a sweet deal. These pillows are like American flag pillows. Dude, check this out. One of my favorite times, everybody, is my chance to finally get to talk to Mike Lindell. I get like 10 minutes every couple weeks to get inside this man's world for a moment, and I'm telling you, it's always wonderful. Mike, it's a pleasure to have you, sir. You got a lot going on. I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about some of the legal stuff that's happening with you.
All right, everybody, it's finally here after 4.5 years. MyPillow and myself, we're going to jury trial in about a week and a half, June 2nd in Colorado, Denver, Colorado. And I want to tell you all a little bit about this. And when in January of 21, voting machine companies and their associates sued over 75 individuals and news outlets. And one company, MyPillow, okay? Of all these now, every one of them so far has settled because their insurance companies say, oh, you need to settle. We can't, we're not going to spend money for 5 years, 6 years, go all the way through, spend millions of dollars. So they've all settled. It's disgusting. Or the person or persons or the news outlets are afraid of going broke because of lawfare. And that's what they've done to me and MyPillow.
Mike, how are they going after your company? That makes no sense. I mean, I get why they hate you, but why?
The company, what they've done with the company, everybody, is this was very orchestrated to destroy my money, to destroy Mike Lindell till he stops talking. This was you go back to January of 2021, and a friend of mine with the Secret Service came to Minnesota, and maybe it was right even before the election, and he said, Mike, they're going to come after you. He said, and when they do, he said, they can't really get you in the media going backwards because you said everything. You're an ex-crack cocaine addict. You've told it. You're so transparent. And he said, going forward, they're going to say, oh, they're just attacking Mike Lindell in the media because he backs Donald Trump. And he said, what they're going to do, they're going to come for your money. They're going to attack you, your company, and they have everybody. They went after My Pillow. It's been all the box stores, over hundreds of millions of dollars lost there. All my money I spent, over $40 million on the country, to anything with the election platforms to get to paper ballots hand counted. It's been a 4.5-year battle, but My Pillow was sued by 3 different companies, and the reason they're suing, now everybody, I want you to listen to this. They say it was an elaborate scheme, marketing scheme by their CEO to badmouth voting machine companies and their associates, so that My Pillow could use promo codes to make more money.
Oh wow! Wow.
It's absolutely
done the absolute opposite for you, but yeah.
So I'm going to tell you the one company sued me a year later. I can say the name; it's all public. Smartmatic sued a year after My Pillow had already lost over $100 million in box stores and shopping channels. So they sue based on that premise. Now, the lawsuit that right now that we're going to, and by the way, everybody, we need your help. We need a win. We have to win. It's all come down to this. This is the most important trial, I believe, in U.S. history.
Where can they donate?
Come on, Mike, that's saying a lot. No, it's not, everybody. This is going to be the gateway to secure our elections. I really believe that. It's all come down to this. We get a win here, it's going to open up the gateway. This is also tied to the Tina Peters. It's anything to do with elections out there. It's all tied into this. Okay.
How can people help? Is there a way?
This case. I'm going to tell you one second here, you guys. But I want to say one thing about My Pillow when you asked about that tied in. My Pillow. Here's what happened. This guy worked for Dominion, and in the spring of 2021, I didn't even know who this Eric Coomer was. Never heard his name before, nor did I care. Okay. Well, Newsmax made a deal struck a deal with at that time said an employee of Dominion. And from that time, this was the end of April of 21. Now, remember, everybody, My Pillow had already lost all of its box stores. 99% of them lost their Twitter account. I mean, it was a full-blown attack, not just on me, but on My Pillow. And this was coming from Dominion. And so anyway, at that time, it came out in the news that Newsmax had made a deal, settled with this Coomer, this employee of Dominion. Now, part of the settlement, it's not in the written part, but part of it was you cannot have Mike Lindell on anymore to talk about pillows or anything. I can still do ads, but I talked to the owner of Newsmax. He says, Mike, I can't have you on anymore to talk about, get this. Even if I was going on like I always used to talk about My Pillow, giving money to pillows to hurricane victims, flood victims, fire victims. We gave millions. In My Pillow, our tithe is 10% we give out to. That's a tithe in our bylaws at My Pillow.
Wow.
So we get these, and even now when we've been attacked and down to, where they've just attacked, we still did that during these terrible times the last 4 years, but you know what? You don't hear about it. You don't hear about it on the Foxes and Newsmaxes of the world because they made these deals. Now, when they made that deal, okay, this is what this trial is all about. When they made that deal, My Pillow had taken in $3 million prior to that on Newsmax and on just the promo code that they'd helped. After that, it went down to $100,000 a month. Now it's down to maybe $5,000 a month. So in other words, that deal that they made that day, that fateful day in April, has cost My Pillow over $20 million. Cost my employee-owned company. I was so mad that day because I seen the future. I'm going, this is going to be horrible. Did I go on and I badmouthed on my show that night, this Eric Coomer? Yes, I did. I said, what you're doing to U.S. companies here, it's just out and out treason. What you're a traitor to our country, the USA made. Yeah. And for that, My Pillow is getting sued.
That is
so
insane.
You guys, we do need help. There's two ways you can help. One is if you go to, you can go to MikeLindellTrial.com. You can go to MikeLindellTrial.com. We set up that website there. You can help there. It's actually the Lindell or Mike Lindell Legal Defense Fund, but this makes it shorter for you. MikeLindellTrial.com. You can help out there, see what's going on in the cases. I'm heading there tomorrow. I'm going to be there for almost a month. This starts June 2nd. This is the most important trial. You'll be able to see footage every day on Lindell TV. But here's what we're doing for MyPillow specifically. If you go to MyPillow, you can also see when you get there, there's a way that you can, it says there's a trial square. But here's the deal. Today, if you go to, what's your website, Dave?
It's mypillow.com/OTF.
Yeah, you guys go there, and what you're going to get our special the Giza Dream Sheets we brought back, $49.98. This is what everybody's been getting. We're raising money with that. Any size, any color, $49.98. I don't care if it's kings, queens, whatever. It don't matter. We got to raise this money. We need the money for this trial. Now, if you guys do this today, you see in front of me all these Patriot pillows and the MyPillow 2.0. You're going to get one free. You guys have supported us, wow. MyPillow. This is our way of giving back for you and thanking you for helping out.
And so folks, this is kind of just to you guys. There's like another Bannon, like you said, but this isn't just going to everybody, to my understanding.
No. This is only going to your audience. Folks, we did it on the War Room, you guys. This is the only other. There's going to be one more podcast.
Because of you guys out there. That's why. Because of you guys out there, you made this happen. So we got this awesome deal that Mike's giving us. Sorry, Mike. I was just excited.
And that's promo code
OTF.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, sir. OTF on the Fringe.
OTF. You guys use that promo code. That's the only way you're going to get these. You get them free. The MyPillow 2.0. What a deal before Memorial Weekend. Here, there is no better pillow. You guys need these pillows. So awesome, and you bet you get. And then you guys, there it is. The free with any multi-use MyPillow 2.0. The roll and go cover. Absolutely free with any purchase.
And super patriotic. Very cool, especially this time of year heading into July 4th. That's the pillow you want.
And there's your number, 800-654.
Let me get back to it. Apologize.
Here we go. Guys, because my operator's standing by. They want to help.
Right here. Call. That's actually a number for my channel, guys. Was it 800?
That's your
800?
800-654-4398. You guys, and you might even get me. I'm helping out in the call center today. We're trying to raise money. So you know what? Whether you want to buy all these great MyPillow products and get those Giza Dream Sheets for $49.98 plus all the other specials, and get roll and go free and the MyPillow 2.0. And then we're gonna do one more thing, everybody. If you buy $100 or more, you're going to get $100. I'm going to match it. You're going to get the free pillow, but you're also going to I'm going to match it with $100 in free digital gifts. You guys, you're going to love them. Trust me.
That's awesome.
You are absolutely going to love this. It's over $100 value in digital gifts. And remember, when you get to mypillow.com, you'll see at the top, the slider, it's going to tell you about MyPillow is going to jury trial. There's going to be 8 jurors. This is a federal case. This isn't just about Mike Lindell and MyPillow. This is about all of you out there. We have to save our country. Amen. I promised our president 4 weeks ago. He said, Mike, how's it going with the election stuff? I said, sir, I promise you, I'm doing everything I can, and so are everybody else, that we will get to paper ballots hand counted, and we will secure our elections in the United States like 132 other countries that have banned electronic voting machines. And I said, we will not let your great 4 years be in vain. We can't, everybody. It's over. The American dream will be gone. This is the gateway. This case is the gateway to get to that point. And people are going to look back in history and look back on this trial and go, if that hadn't happened, this wouldn't have happened. I believe that. I look back now the last 4.5 years. If this hadn't happened, would get us to where God's given us grace to get to right now.
God
this
bless
is how
you.
important it is, everybody.
Yeah.
So you can check it out at mypillow.com. Click on the top slider if you want to learn more about this trial, but it is so important. I can't. So, and I'm looking. People, Mike, you're looking forward to going to. I've been waiting 4.5 years for this. Everybody,
Yeah, this is redemption.
It's here.
Yeah.
We're in it, and you know what? Everybody else, when they lawfare is to silence people. Everybody, it had not been done in our country since 1792. Okay, and of this lawfare, it worked on every single person and news outlets so far, except for one, myself and Lindell TV and then the one company that they went after, My Pillow. We're not stopping. It's much bigger than just this case.
Mike
and
bends the knee only to God, right, sir? I mean, that's it.
Right.
Amen.
That's right.
Amen. That's awesome.
And they asked me the other day, well, don't you have fear of losing? I said, I only have one fear of the Lord.
Amen.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, everybody.
And one more time where they can donate to you. I think it's so important that people can, even if it's $5, folks, try to throw a little bit of money to help, because he's trying to fight for our elections.
If you guys can do this, it would be great. And I made it easy. Go to MikeLindellTrial.com. Donate there, like I say, $5, $10, whatever you can afford, and prayers. And if you can't, you guys, here's what I encourage you right now. Here's another way you can all do it. Go to any one of the social media platforms, whether it's X, Getter, Gab, my platform, Vocal, a Telegram, True Social. You go to any one of them and put in Mike Lindell, search Real Mike Lindell or Mike Lindell, and the first pinned thing is going to tell you all about that. So you go there and you at least share, because then you're spreading it over. It's not just you helping out, and maybe you can help out, but you can share on all your social media. Go there and share my posts. You're going to see me sitting in a car. I did this great testimonial there of telling how critical this is to our country. So go to your social medias, everybody. I don't care where you live, if you live on Facebook or where you live. Go search at Real Mike Lindell. And by the way, you get involved there, and I'll turn around and follow you. So we can get that
and
done too.
as we call it on my channel, we call it rippling. I like to get other people to make noise and ripple themselves, right? Like in a pond. So let's ripple out Mike Lindell's stuff, because this is about spreading this and making this a bigger thing. So amen.
Absolutely.
Mike, thank you so much for everything you've done, for my channel specifically. Again, I have mad respect for what you've done. You've done so much and put your own money and neck on the line, and I just appreciate the heck out of you, sir. God bless you in this endeavor.
God bless you, and thanks for all your support, everybody, and thanks you for this great show. And you guys have been supportive. This is a win-win-win, everybody. We're all in this together. So God bless you, and the next time you'll see me, we'll be right in the heart of the trial.
I love it. Let's do that. All right, Mike. Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye. Dude's a fake. He's a fake. No, Mike Lindell is awesome. We MikeLindellTrial.com. Again, just good stuff. I actually got to meet his son. That was pretty cool. Anyway, it's weird. Today was a weird day in that regard. I thank you guys. By the way, Mike, if you watch this or see this, but that was just a wonderful experience. You're a good man. I like what you're doing. And hey, OTF, mypillow.com/OTF. A lot of cool stuff going on. If you don't see the thing, they're supposed to update it. And if not, you might just want to go to mypillow.com. There it is. Cool. There it is. Right there. Booyah. All right, so cool. Now you got it. Yeah, and then still $100 thing. You still get the digital coupes. This was a special thing. 3 of us exclusive for you guys. Literally, guys, this is like, for those of you that are like totally, this is, it's going to be here for a short period of time, a week maybe. I don't know. They didn't even say. I wouldn't wait. So yeah, mypillow.com/OTF, mypillow.com/OTF. That phone number works. All this stuff works. Oh, you can get a free gift. I'm going to say no thank you right now, sir. Sorry. Don't get mad. Yeah, beautiful stuff. A couple of last stories here. We had a gunman shot and killed a former Ukrainian politician, one who happened to be anti-Zelensky. Somehow just managed to get shot and killed in Madrid, Spain. Because that's common. That happens all the time in Madrid, Spain. Not a place, I think, known for violence. Trump, just the confront. Yeah, we saw this already. The confrontation was rather interesting, though. Breaking down U.S. global military spend by country. United States, $997 billion. I think it's higher than that now. This is probably based off last year's numbers. China, $314. They're a third of us, by the way, folks. A third. Everybody's freaking out. Oh, come on, give us a little credit. And Russia, really doing well, $149 billion. That's about half the world's money right there. Boom. Boom. Half the world's money being spent on these three countries. That's why it's the three poles. These are the three largest countries as far as money goes. Oh, 409, rest of the world. The rest of the world. The rest of the story. Elon Musk confirms June launch for robo-taxis in Austin, Texas. Guys ride those scooters around and shit out there in Austin. No offense. I was there. There was a it was so cool. I got to work at this place. It was an old World War I want to say, hangar for airplanes. And they literally launched off this hill. And it was just cool because you could see how it was and you could see how that was the case. And it was cool as hell being there. So, all said, it was a radio thing. It was fun, though. It was very fun. Running around there, you guys might get hit by a Tesla, so watch out. Teslas might not have people in them soon. That's just coming to a theater near you, they would say. Again, a lot going on. World's changing quickly, and you're either going to miss the bus or you're going to figure out how to hop on quickly because we've got a lot of change happening. And as far as those, you can't see it on this, but you could see it in the video really bad. One of my eyes, man, in the morning, somewhere between dropping my girlfriend off and taking a shower, which was a reasonably small period of time, I don't know, I scratched a vessel in my eye. I don't know what I did. It's a little irritated right now, so it feels like it's scratched. But there's like the whole part of it by the, I don't know if you can see it, but whatever the case was. It's like, yeah, it's gross. It's not like something weird happened. The other side isn't jacked up, so I think that's indication that I wasn't doing anything inappropriate, but I certainly wasn't. But yeah, I don't know what happened to my eye. It's weird. We'll see. It had to be a day I was talking to Mike too, right? Of all days. So whatever the case was, I look like a freaking weirdo. World's changing fast. The movie's cool though, right? Like, you got to admit, it's pretty damn cool. I mean, if you can step back from it at all, if you have the ability at all to kind of step back from it, it's an awesome movie. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. I love you guys. We're going to talk about it. I'll be there. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.